of a chest pain and shortness of breath, but no assessment was performed and the passenger was not offered to be transferred to the Guam Memorial Hospital ER for evaluation. She told the passenger to go to sleep. They're probably just nervous, the complaint stated. One of the nurses also allegedly participated in the free community testing at the Mangegem Mall in December and mislabeled 3 people as negative. The supervisor had to call these individuals to inform them it was a mistake. DPHSS spokesperson Janela Carrera confirms the complaint was received. Quote, the matter is currently under review by DPHSS management, unquote. Public Health Chief Medical Officer Dr. Felix Cabrera says we're doing a good job so far when it comes to vaccinations. So good, in fact, that we might need to make some room in the freezers for more. Peter Santos reports.
The Department of Public Health and Social Services has been full force with their approach on getting the island immunized. On the link this morning, Public Health Chief Medical Officer Dr. Felix Cabrera broke down the plan moving forward.
There was a very, very important meeting that happened yesterday morning where the State Surgeon Cell presented to General Perna, who's the head of Operation Warp Speed, presented a build-up plan for our vaccination. He promised us that we will get our minimum of the 15,000, and that now and then he'll do everything he can to increase that allotment.
Currently, the island is allotted 15,000 doses of the vaccine a month. Dr. Cabrera says they're hoping to bump that number up to 35,000 doses. And with an increase in doses, our summer could possibly look a little bit brighter.
The WHO does not think that the world will achieve herd immunity this year. And so, but admits that there will be pockets of areas around in several countries, in several areas that will achieve this. And we want to be one of those. And we believe we can actually, even by potentially this summer.
According to Cabrera, both Guam and our brothers and sisters of the CNMI are leading the charge when it comes to vaccination.
Guess who's, and when you look at that as shots per capita, guess who's number 1 and number 2? Basically the Mariana Islands, both Guam and the CNMI. And so CNMI edging out just a little bit, but that's really impressive, and that's something that we should be extremely proud of.
To date, there have been over 12,000 of our island residents vaccinated. And as we start to open things up and begin to see a glimmer of hope with the upcoming shift in P Course status and the return of face-to-face education, it's on us to stay committed to keeping our CAR score low and our numbers of vaccinations high. For Guam's News Network, I'm Peter Santos.
Thanks, Pete, for that report. Administration of the first dose of the Moderna vaccine for Phase 1C, individuals ages 60 to 74, continues tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. at the Southern Region Community Health Center in Inalahan. A total of 250 doses will be available on a first-come, first-served basis. To be eligible for the vaccine, you must not have had COVID within the last 2 weeks, along with any other vaccinations such as the flu shot. On Sunday, Public Health, in collaboration with the American Medical Center, will begin immunizing registered homebound PD residents and their caregivers for COVID-19. Physicians Advisory Group Dr. Hoa Wen.
Open the way, so we don't mind doing that.
About 9 homebound Manumku will be immunized along with their primary caregivers. They will begin at 8 a.m. Dr. Wen says that if all goes well in PD, they may reach out to another village to administer homebound vaccinations that same Sunday. Earlier this afternoon, the Guam Department of Education held a town hall meeting in regards to COVID testing and vaccination of employees. Public Health's Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Felix Cabrera, and Dr. Louis Cruz from the Physicians Advisory Group gave a detailed presentation which addressed the frequently asked questions revolving around the meeting's key items.
Information you may have heard also is about, that it's going to alter my DNA. And so you see things like this where it's published, it looks official, it looks like it's real, it sounds like it makes sense. They use, it sounds like they're making a scientific argument, but it's wrong. And this does not happen. The vaccine does not incorporate to your DNA. It doesn't work that way. There's no way, it's impossible for it to do that with the mechanism of how it works.
Cabrera also revealed that there are tentative plans for the University of Guam Cowboys Fieldhouse to become a regular vaccination clinic.
DPHSS is going to have a couple of days where they're going to move their operations from Okadu to Yoji.
He says school-based staff can look at being vaccinated as soon as next week, Friday. It was also revealed that Guam and the Northern Marianas are leading the nation in terms of shots given per capita at 6.7%, according to Bloomberg. You can watch the full presentation on the GDOE Facebook page. As for the latest numbers, the Joint Information Center reports that 15 new COVID-19 cases have been confirmed out of 506 tests performed on Tuesday. Guam's current coronavirus case count since last March is now 7,444, with 124 deaths, 112 active cases, and 7,208 recoveries. There are 7 coronavirus admissions in island hospitals, with 3 patients in ICU and 3 on ventilators. Guam's CAR score is now 1.1. 2 Port Authority of Guam employees turned in resignation letters after not submitting to a drug test. According to an inter-office memo obtained by KUAM, Port General Manager Rory Respicio ordered random drug testing of employees within one of their divisions on Monday. All 24 employees that were tested were negative, except for the 2 who did not submit to testing. Additionally, 1 employee was issued a notice of proposed adverse action because he warned his coworkers through an employee group chat on WhatsApp not to bring in illegal items into the port compound because Port Police is conducting random searches. According to the memo, of notice of proposed adverse action was also issued to a supervisor, 2 leaders, and superintendent for, quote, willfully endangering port employees' lives for dereliction of their duties and responsibilities in providing a safe, drug-free workplace. Respicio wrote, quote, we must end the acceptance or practice of looking the other way when other port employees are knowingly under the influence of drugs or alcohol, unquote. Before we head into break, important information if you had appointments set with the Department of Revenue and Tax. Due to an additional confirmed case of COVID-19, DRT will be closed to the public until further notice. DRT is working with the Department of Public Health to identify all close contacts. Mass testing for DRT employees is scheduled for this Saturday, January 16. DRT is contacting those with appointments to reschedule. Stick around for more news here on Primetime. You're watching KUAM.
While we've all been through a lot over the years,
typhoons, earthquakes, and now COVID-19,
we've been able to get through these together.
For more than 80 years,
Cowboys Insurance has been protecting your homes, your businesses,
and the health of your family.
We are here today and we'll be here tomorrow.
There are better days ahead. Tomorrow's a new day filled with hope and choices.
The possibilities of what we can achieve together are limitless.
Let's continue to work together to ensure a brighter tomorrow for all of us.
Thanks for the Big Mac.
Yeah, thanks for driving. Wait, what are we listening to?
Get it at McDonald's when you get 2 of your faves for just $6.
So you went to Mickey D's and didn't even... Man, that's wrong. But, you're all right.
Get it at McDonald's when you get 2 of your faves for just $6.
KUAM News.
winner of the 2020 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Social Media.
And welcome back. 30 members of the Guam National Guard will travel to Washington to provide security during the January 20th inauguration of President-elect Joe Biden. The Guard announced that the local soldiers will join an estimated 15,000 fellow troops from other states to support civil authorities in ensuring a safe and secure transition of power for our nation. Federal authorities are boosting security following a deadly riot at the Capitol last week by supporters of President Trump. The national media also reports there are new threats of an attack during the Biden inauguration. The Guam Guard is waiting for more specific details of the mission requirements, but says it's in the process of selecting the soldiers to go on a voluntary basis. This year, the ban of single-use carry-out bags went into effect for Guam. According to the new public law, retail and all wholesale establishments are no longer allowed to offer for sale or distribute disposable carry-out bags. But there still seems to be some confusion in the community about what bags are permissible and whether businesses are allowed to give out what's left in stock. Guam EPA's Nick Lee.
The HDPE or the biodegradable or the compostable component that's spelled out in the law. So it doesn't meet those requirements. As of the new year, they're not able to use those for distribution at all.
The EPA is charged with enforcement of the bag ban and will be meeting with the board of directors at the regularly scheduled January board meeting to iron out details, such as the definition of biodegradable and the compostability of bags. Penalties for violating the bag ban range anywhere from $500 to $10,000, depending on the frequency of violation. And if an establishment receives a notice of violation for breaking the ban, they have the opportunity to appeal.
For guidance on how we're going to enforce this within the community, and we at the same time preserve the business's due process.
The non-biodegradable bag ban is part of a bigger picture to protect our land and oceans, including limiting the amount of plastic going into our island's landfill. It's the first step in the phasing out of the use of all plastic and paper bags for most retail and all wholesale establishments. Once the clock strikes midnight of 2022, also in effect, the ban on all plastic bags, including compostable, biodegradable, and those designated as high-density polyethylene bags. Later that same year, July 1st, 2022, paper carry-out bags will also be banned except for food service establishments. For more information, go to epa.guam.gov. He was supposed to be sentenced in district court this week. However, a sudden recess mid-sentencing of William Tapasnio Mantanotnya pushed the hearing back 2 weeks. According to court documents, Mantanotnya's attorney, William Gavris, presented the court with medical records that were recently received by the defendant. Gavris requested a continuance so that he and the government can review the records. The court granted the request. The sentencing was continued to January 26th. Mantanotnya was indicted for count 1 obstruction justice by endeavoring to influence a juror and count 2 false statements. He is accused for his role in jury tampering in the Raymond Martinez and Juanita Moser federal drug trial. Mantanotnya was arrested alongside his brother, John Boom Mantanotnya, and former juror Greg Taikinko. Mantanotnya entered a plea agreement nearly 1 year ago, pleading guilty to count 2 false statements. He faces a maximum imprisonment term of 5 years, a $250,000 fine, and a 3-year supervised release term. We should add today the government filed another unopposed motion to continue former juror Taikinko's sentencing hearing for 60 days from now. 62-year-old Danny Vincent Rodriguez was arrested and charged with 3 counts of first-degree criminal sexual conduct and 4 counts of of second-degree criminal sexual conduct, both as first-degree felonies. According to court documents, in November 2020, the victim alleged Rodriguez began sexually assaulting her when she was 6 years old up until 2014. In 2020, Rodriguez began assaulting her again on at least 2 occasions. The victim was 11 during the first incident in January 2020 at his home. The second incident occurred sometime between March and April 2020 when the victim followed Rodriguez to a ranch. Evan Daniel Monville Cohen has returned on island from medical treatment. A court order allowed Monville Cohen's travel to the States for his health-related care. His medical records have been sealed. He appeared electronically for a status hearing this morning with Assistant Federal Public Defender Brianna Kotke. Monville Cohen faces aggravated identity theft and wire fraud charges for allegedly using one of his employees' personal information to rent an apartment in Tamuning last year. He is currently on pretrial release. Kotke stated that due to the pandemic and his medical issues, the court has been stuck in the pretrial phase of the case, and she has not been able to sit down and go through any discovery with her client. The court allowed the defense 30 days to review the discovery. Magistrates Judge Michael Bordalio set a criminal trial setting hearing for February 11th. Stick around, more primetime news when we return. You're watching KUAM.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Mas.
It makes myself and it makes my team members very proud to work for an organization that has been on island for many years with its focus on reliability, dependability, and commitment to the communities that they operate in.
Matson's a great corporate citizen to the community.
We all benefit from any sort of environmental commitment we make. One of the ways that we do that is with our Adahi Utano program. There's action behind it, and so action breeds commitment.
With the Kaimana Hila coming to Guam, this brings a new age and modernization to the island.
It's exciting for me because it's a brand new ship and we can carry more freight into the islands. It just shows growth for Guam and Micronesia.
Matson would be nothing without its customers, and we hope to continue to serve you for decades to come.
Ever since you've been hanging out with Jack, there's something different about you.
Everyone's feeling the late night vibe with my $4 sauced and loaded tots with cheddar bacon or jalapeno ranch.
We get it. Living to the fullest is tough during COVID-19. You don't need to do it alone, and everyone needs a hand right now. We are here. Feeling overwhelmed? Call 647-8833 and let's talk. Mangegem is a project of Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center.
Guam is truly a majestic place with its sheer natural beauty, wealth of beaches, and culturally rich landscape. Unfortunately, Guam has a real problem with unwanted invasive species. Help us in preventing their introduction and spread. The coconut rhinoceros beetle, the little fire ant, the African snail, Siam weed. These are just a few of the numerous invasives on Guam. Follow proper custom procedures when bringing plants and animals into Guam.
Help protect Guam. Tell your family and friends about invasive species.
To report invasive species, call 475-PEST.
Welcome back. A number of Republicans joined Democrats Wednesday to impeach President Trump for a historic second time, this time for inciting the violent storming of the U.S. Capitol that stunned the nation and the world. The impeachment seeks President Trump's immediate removal from office and to disqualify him from holding office again. CBS News correspondent Skylar Henry is at the Capitol with the latest.
The ayes are 232,
The nays are 197.
The House voted to impeach President Trump on a single charge of incitement of insurrection for last week's deadly rampage at the Capitol. The historic vote marks the first time in U.S. history a president has been impeached twice.
The danger is too great. We must impeach.
Defend this Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic, including Donald J. Trump.
While 10 Republicans broke with President Trump voting to impeach, most stood by him.
He specifically told the crowd to protest peacefully and patriotically, and the vast majority of them did.
Instead of stopping the Trump train, his movement will grow stronger, for you will have made him a martyr.
Amid threats in the days ahead of next Wednesday's inauguration of President-elect Joe Biden, the National Guard is mobilizing up to 20,000 troops around Washington, D.C.
No true supporter of mine could ever endorse political violence.
Without mentioning the impeachment, President Trump condemned the Capitol riot in a new White House video, but did not take responsibility for it.
Exactly when the president's Senate trial will begin remains unclear.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says he will not use emergency powers to bring the Senate back from recess before next Tuesday. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has already named 9 impeachment managers who will serve as prosecutors in the trial.
Today, in a bipartisan way, the House demonstrated that no one is above the law, not even the President of the United States.
To convict, 17 Senate Republicans would need to vote against President Trump. Skylar Henry reporting for KUAM News.
With regional headlines, here's KSPN2 News.
Hafa-day Guam, here are the headlines for CNMI.
Living conditions at IPI barracks continue to deteriorate here just off Middle Road. This is where some members of the Italian team, the Turkish team, and the Taiwanese team have been living outside the building. Waste accumulates. Trash pickup service has been suspended, and the property is littered with food remnants, styrofoam, and flies. A cat perches on a broken refrigerator. One of the buildings does have CUC power now, which is a recent development, but this building does not. And the workers are running extension cords from the building with power to the one that does not have power. Inside, mold continues to accumulate. There are leaky faucets, rusted out hardware, and lots of exposed wires. One Taiwanese worker this morning agreed to an interview, but asked us to blur his face. He's been here since 2019, says he has had enough. He will leave next week, holding a lot of IOUs. How do you feel?
I feel so bad because sir, almost 3 months no pay. And how can we survive without money? Everything need money, food, and also the telephone charge, and also water, even water, drinking water. Yes.
Do you feel like abandoned?
Yes, it's very bad.
You're heading home next week?
Uh-huh.
How will you get home? Like, are you buying your own ticket, or what's the plan?
We meet with company HR, and they say later they will pay, but now we pay by own pocket.
And how did he feel watching IPI light off fireworks last weekend? How did you feel when you saw that?
We think they use our salary to buy the fireworks.
Buying his air ticket home cost him $1,200, and he also had to pay for a COVID test prior to travel.
Our country needs the certificate.
So you have to get a COVID test here?
Here.
And how much is that?
$300.
Did you take it already?
Yes. Also pay by our own pocket.
How many people will go back with you?
20.
He says a number of Taiwanese continue to work on the site without pay, hoping that money comes in the future. The Turks have filed a class action claim under the Fair Labor Standards Act. Judge Mona Mangegem is to decide on damages later this month.
For more news, visit SaipanTV.com. For KSPN2 News, I'm Ashley McDowell.
Don't go anywhere. We've got birthdays when we return.
We
We rely on each other to be there in the good and bad times.
Parents rely on me for making sure that their kids are always in the best of their health.
The community relies on me when emergencies strike.
My students rely on me to move them higher in what they're learning.
Our kids rely on us to provide them with all the support they need.
For keeping us in touch every day,
For every call and schedule I receive, and for every emergency I respond to.
And with my need to respond in the timeliest manner,
To keep my knowledge updated.
For keeping us connected every day, we only rely on Docomo Pacific.
Enjoy honey sesame chicken breast at Panda Express. Be the sweetness. Be the freshness. Be the crispy tender sesame seed perfection. That's how you find your sweet spot. Have it delivered from Panda Express today.
Agania Shopping Center.
And before we close out the news tonight, our latest round of birthday shoutouts from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club.
Happy birthday on this January 14th to Rocco Flores. Happy birthday to Rock, coming from Dad, Mom, Sister, and your entire Bank Pacific family. Marvin Swinney, happy birthday to you from everyone that knows you and your friends over here at KUAM. And Ania Lea Ungakta. Happy birthday to our baby girl and sister from your loving family who always thinks and always loves you. May you enjoy your special day. So, I hope the three of you have the best birthday ever.
Remember, you can be part of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club by registering online at KUAM.com. Please make sure to include with your photo your name and birth date. That's important. Thanks for tuning in to Primetime. Thanks for watching. Good night.